Hello, how are you? I'm very happy to be here again. This is like, I think, my seventh talk at EthCC. The first one was 2018. So, bull market, bear market, the COVID, World War III. I mean, you can count on me still being, here on stage. So, well, thank you. Oh, you don't need. Okay. So I'm a founder and CEO at Kleros. It's a decentralized justice protocol that is used for resolving disputes. The case people typically know is Alice. She's a designer and she makes a contract with like a freelancer called Bob, right? And she sends a payment into a smart contract. And then they agree if there's a dispute, they're going to use Kleros to resolve it. So if there is a dispute, the case goes to Kleros, money stays locked into this escrow. And then a panel of jurors is going to see the evidence, see the case, and vote on who they think is right. And so let's say the majority here thinks Alice is right, so Kleros makes a ruling, and the smart contract sends the money to Alice. Okay, so this solves the problem. And Kleros uses a token called Pinakion for coordination of jurors. It's based on shelling points, and well, there's lots of talks of me presenting this, so you can watch it. So everyone is talking about AI now, but so we have been experimenting with AI since 2018, way before it was hype. And in 2018, we launched the first version of the protocol. And we made an experiment called Dodges on Trial that was an experiment to test how robust Kleros was. And it was like this. So users could submit an image, and jurors would decide whether it was a Dodge image to be accepted into a verified, certified Dodge list. And if you sent an image and your image was accepted into the list by the jurors, then you earn a small reward. But the jackpot here was if you could send an image and fool jurors that it was a Dodge, but it was actually a cat, and then you could make 50 ETH. It was $12,000. So this was a very big incentive for people to try to break it. So this is how it worked. Alice is a submitter. She submits an image of a Dodge. People can check it, and here nobody has any objection. And then she gets back the deposit that she puts when she makes the submission. And now she submits a cat image to see if it can go through. And Bob thinks this is not a Dodge, this is actually a cat. So he can challenge the submission with another deposit. And then what happens, there is a dispute between Alice and Bob. And guess who is going to solve this? Of course, Kleros is going to solve this. And a panel of jurors is going to be drawn, and they're going to analyze the case. And of course, this is a pushing cat and not a Dodge, so it's going to be rejected, and Bob gets the deposit made by Alice, okay? This is how the mechanism worked. And here you can see a bit of the images that people sent. These were accepted as Dodges, these were valid submissions. And here you can see some attempts of sending cats, and people were doing Photoshop to try to make a Dodge look like a cat. A cat look like a Dodge. So, well, people tried lots of different strategies. And after we finished, we ran some AI algorithms through this to see if they could recognize the Dodges, right? And we found that AI had 97% precision in actually recognizing the right images as Dodges. But it's not sufficient because 97% is not 100%. There was this case, which was very famous, called the cat in the snow case. Someone submits this image, and they tell me, look, this is accepted into the list, and they tell me, okay, you need to pay me because I got a cat image into the list. And I tell him, this could be a cat. And this is what he sent me. This is the other side of the picture. And I told him, yeah, this could be this cat, but could also be this Dodge. So I'm not convinced that this clearly shows a cat. So what did we do? There was a trial done in Kleros for the 50 ETH that were promised to the submitter that broke the system. And jurors had to define whether the image clearly showed a cat or not. So this is the image. Who thinks this is clearly a cat? No. Who thinks this is not clearly a cat? Okay, This is the big majority, of course, and in the Kleros case, the no option won 2-1. So this was the first time we tested how AI and Kleros could interact, and this is summarized in this article. This is collective versus artificial intelligence, and this is where we developed our first hypothesis of how we imagine this distributed solution to work in the future through a combination of technologies, where AI is going to be used for the simpler cases. Decentralized justice is going to be used for like a bit more complex cases where you have like crowdsourced jurors. And then for even more complex cases that require legal knowledge or more like sophisticated reasoning, then more traditional methods of the distributed solution may be used. So then came the AI agents, right? But this is not that new. I had an interview with Max Kaiser on TV in 2016, and here I was actually a bit speaking about, well, check for yourself. This is 2016.
We're going to do in the future will be in virtual reality worlds. My avatar could sue your avatar on this kingdom of virtual reality, and there would be a jury to decide who is right. The jury, we didn't define if it is human or not human. It could be perfectly robots, and the defendant could also be robots. Maybe one robot could sue another robot because he didn't do some job well, and maybe the judge go to trial, and other algorithm made of robots could settle the case. So robots and VR are within the limits of possibility from here to 10 or 20 years.
So, I mean, that was quite prescient. I mean, I was very, very right about the time frame and what would happen. I was very, very wrong about calling these VR worlds and bots, because if I had called them, metaverse and AI agents, I mean, VCs would be throwing money at me. But I got I got the marketing wrong about this. But I mean, the time is happening now. I said 10 years, and so it's from 10 to 20, and this is starting. So now we are starting to experiment with agents, and I'm Argentinian, so of course the first thing we think is football. So we started doing some tests with using Kleros jurors as a kind of VAR, a VAR version that is crowdsourced. So we started testing it with actual football situations. A very famous situation was in the World Cup of South Africa 2010. There was this goal by Frank Lampard that was disallowed, and this is what happened. I don't know, who thinks this is a valid goal? Yeah, okay, this is a valid goal. Okay, so we put this on Kleros, and we got 3 jurors, each of them with a different agent, like one was Gemini, another was ChatGPT, another was Claude, I think. And they all agreed that, okay, yeah, this was a valid goal, so this is all good. And jurors gave justifications on why they thought this was goal. So juror 1 gave this justification, juror 2 gave this one, and juror 3 gave this one. Remember, these are like bots. These are not humans doing this work. I mean, humans are actually just receiving the case, turning around, loading the case into GPT, and then copying and pasting the decision, okay? Okay, so first case, everybody agrees. Let's go to another one. This one is collision between Norway and Iwain in the 2014 final. Is there any German here? I mean, no, you cannot participate in this one. So, well, was this a foul or was not this a foul? Okay, let's see. Okay. Who thinks this was a foul? Yeah, okay. Who thinks this was not a foul? Okay, I mean, that is a 50-50, right? Around. And we put these AIs, and the models don't agree on the decision. So you can very well have AIs where the decision made by different models are different, seeing the same evidence and the same case. And there is a justification. So the AI one said there's no foul, and justifying. The second one is foul because it's a dangerous and excessive force. I agree with this one. And the third one said it was a no foul. Okay, so you see that you have different situations and different decisions made by different agents. And this same logic we are starting to apply, for example, copyright law. you can have lots of IP claims that you can resolve through agents. For example, think this one. Is there a concerning similarity between image 1 and the copy? Well, this is super relevant for lots of IP claims, IP decisions that need to be made. In this case, the decision was made that 2 votes against 1, that there is actually a concerning similarity. If you want to learn more about this type of IP use case, I recommend that you take a look at the Harmony Mediator bot. This is a bot we developed that looks into this kind of issues and looking for percentages of similarity between images. So this is where we're going. So AI judges are cool because they can deliver very fast and very affordable justice. They can resolve cases very, very fast in a matter of minutes. But of course, there is a dark side to all this. Because AI can be misaligned with our goals and values. And this was very clear in the world of social media. So I recommend this book that explains how Facebook in the early days developed this algorithm with the goal of curating the feed of people, and this was supposed, the goal was to maximize engagement of people with the platform. And what happened is that the AI discovered that the way to maximize engagement was to maximize moral outrage, showing you the kind of information that would trigger you against the other side. So this is a way where the AI strategy was misaligned with the goals that were intended to serve. And well, lots of the things that are happening in our societies these days might be, I don't want to say everything, but it might be linked to this misalignment situation. And also there is a problem of bias. There was this tool was used in the UK, in Durham, for making parole decisions. So the AI tool would predict the percentage of the risk of some individual that would get parole, of reoffending or not reoffending. If the percentage was low, the individual would go free. If it was high, it would be kept in custody. And their model had different variables, and at some point, they started discovering that it punished unfairly people who were from poor areas. Everything else equal, if you were from a poor area, you would get a higher value of risk and you would remain in jail unfairly. So lots of people say, okay, yeah, but cool, no problem, because you can still have humans that will verify this and make a final decision in case you don't agree. But it's not so simple, empirically, because let's say you are the parole officer in the jail, and you have to decide whether to free this guy or not. You have a meeting with the guy, and then you think he's decided to reform, you think he's okay, he's not going to reoffend. But the algorithm tells you that this is a high-risk individual. You have to think now whether you will obey the algorithm or you will overturn it. You have the power to overturn it, but what would you do, guys? Who would overturn the decision of the algorithm? Okay, maybe 1 out of 100, I don't know. Who would not overturn? Who would accept the decision? I'm seeing lots of people fearing to raise their hand. Of course, what if you overturn the decision, the guy goes free, and 2 months later kills someone, right? People will come to you to ask you, hey, this algorithm said it was high risk. Why did you free him? There is no incentive at all for humans to overturn decisions made by AI. This is why there is this famous quote, no one was fired for following the algorithm as before. No one was fired for buying from IBM. No, now everyone will just obey the algorithm, and this will result probably in a situation where our societies might turn into what we call an algocracy. So it's a government where decisions are made by AI or very much influenced by what AI says, right? If you want to learn more about this, there is this article I wrote at the American Bar Association where I explain all of this situation and how this can be solved a bit. And the main question that we have in this context is how can we align AI with our human goals? And there are 2 main strategies. One strategy is about certification, is to prevent misaligned AI from even happening. This is something you do before you deploy the AI. And the other one is the kill switch strategy. So it's more like, okay, the AI is deployed, it's working, and now you need to disable it. And the thing is that, I mean, AIs that are deployed, they really don't like to be disabled. I mean, they just prefer to just, I'm afraid I cannot do that, Dave, situation. So I don't have time to go through both. I mean, I will keep the kill switch strategy, and they are complementary, but I will do the kill switch situation in a future talk. I will speak a bit of how the certification approach might work. So imagine we want to create a safe AI certification that whitelist models that are acceptable for being deployed. And as I explained to you before, the version trial pilot, this can be used also for AIs on trial list. You need to define a list of criteria that you would deem safe for an AI model to have. I mean, from the science fiction world, you can have Isaac Asimov laws of robotics that is mostly, about robots cannot injure, humans. But more seriously, now we have, for example, the Asilomar principles. Asilomar was a conference held in California, 2017, where a bunch of AI experts get together and they define a number of conditions that they deem are important for AI models to comply with, so they are safe for us to use. So based on all of this information, you can create a list of conditions that you deem important for an AI model to have. This could be about transparency in development, could be about testing for bias, could be about robustness, safety, ethical compliance. Well, we can think what are the criteria we want to use. And then you have a model, a mechanism looking like the Dodgers on trial. So you have Alice who wants her model to be whitelisted, to be used in different applications. So she makes a submission of her model with a deposit. People can verify it and see if it's safe or not, if it complies with the list of rules that we defined. If the model complies, then it gets the certification and it's whitelisted to be used. Now, let's say she submits a model that is biased or malicious in some way or non-compliant. So Bob thinks this model doesn't work, I'm going to challenge it. So now there is a dispute between the submitter and the challenger, and the panel will decide whether this model is or is not acceptable. Let's say the model is deemed not acceptable. So what happens now is that, the model is removed from the whitelist, so it cannot be used, and Bob gets the deposit. So this is a mechanism that helps create a list of certified models that will comply with a number of characteristics that we deem desirable for use. So getting to the end, so let me just recommend some readings if you want to learn more about all this. This is very fascinating. As you have seen, I've been following these topics for a very long time. So first, this Vitalik post about the promise and challenges of crypto and AI applications. This is from 2024. And then two very good books. The first one is quite old, Weapons of Mass Destruction, about how bias and human compatible is by one of the godfathers of AI, Stuart Russell, a professor at Berkeley. So strongly recommended to understand these relationships between AIs and humans. So conclusions, AI judges are here and they bring many benefits in terms of access to justice. So they are great. We should not fear them, but we need to put them into the right mechanism because misalignment and bias can be very big problems for human rights, basically. So we have different ways to address these problems, and one of them is certification, and other one is skill switch mechanisms, which I will discuss in a future talk. Thank you very much. Hopefully you learned something from this, and thank you.